console, so he's looking around like, do I miss this? Do I don't miss this? Honorable Member of Parliament for Tamale North is here with us, Honorable Alhassan Sayibu Suhiyini. And well, it's been a very busy day for him. I was watching Parliament some minutes ago on their YouTube page, and the man is right here, right from the chambers. Good afternoon, welcome, my big brother.
Good afternoon, Giovanni.
That's right.
When I got the invitation, you know what was running through my mind? How do I match this guy's energy? The energy, where does it come from?
My brother, I want to use the default button, the grace of God. Permit me to use the default answer, the grace of God.
The grace of God.
And you see, sometimes my producer's like, and he's yet to, I have my first meal of the day after 5.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
So you do all of that with on an empty stomach.
So every time
then you have proven the saying that a soldier marches on the empty, on the stomach. You have good.
So I know entire distance every day.
Yeah, so how many chairs do you break in a year?
Unfortunately, I'm yet to break my first. But Black Rasta can say we are on our 4th. And he says
anyway,
4 more.
I'm so proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
And we are proud of you as well.
Thank you.
With all you've achieved from the teacher, you were, that small, I want to say Zongo boy, but I don't know how people interpret that.
Yeah.
But that small boy growing up in Tamale doing your thing, and on radio, Alaji and Alaji, to a member of parliament, you've served in various committees, and you continue to serve Mother Ghana.
Right.
And we keep asking why. You've achieved a lot for yourself, for the 44-45-year-old man you are, young man you are. Yeah, we're proud of you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we also hear that you're currently the man who speaks, you're part of those who speak for your political party, the NDC.
Absolutely.
And it's been politically tensed, and I mean that in a good sense. A couple of days, since Sunday, the media's time with the former president and all that. I mean, your own quick assessments. How do you see that?
I think that the atmosphere, yes, is getting heated up, and it is expected to be so because we are only, less than 150 days away from the general elections. And this is going to be a very crucial elections. I mean, if you look around the world, you realize that many countries are undergoing a certain revolution, a certain transformation is taking place in our elections. And young people are getting more, vociferous, they are getting louder, and they are beginning to demand better of their leaders. And it is seen in the elections in South Africa, it is seen in the elections, that just ended in the UK. I mean, France, for the first time, is unable to produce, a straight majority. So a lot of things are happening around the world, and I can foresee that it's going to have an impact on the elections that we conduct here in Ghana. For the first time, we also have a former president who is coming back. The United States of America is also, having a similar contest. But look at the two tickets. Now that the two tickets by the two major political parties have been, fully set, you can begin to deduce what to expect in this campaign. I mean, you have one that presents peace, that presents calmness, that presents thoughtfulness, that is decent, and that is pragmatic. And then on the other hand, as you saw yesterday, ones that is chaotic, ones that is just gallery playing to the gallery and disorganized and just doing things, seeing things business as usual. I mean, just look at the approach of the two, parties and how they have showcased their leadership. From the election of President Mahama, when the party came together to hold the presidential and parliamentary primaries, where he addressed the nation when he was announced as the winner in Tamale at the UDS ceremony, and thanked his party members and, gave a hint as to the kind of campaign he was going to wage and the nation that he was hoping to govern and the policies that he was going to use. To when he chose Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman and how she was outdoored at the UPSA. Now compare that I mean, and you can just tell
We
that
know.
Indeed,
I mean, some of these things you're saying, I'm sure, because
it's going to be an exciting.
It's definitely going to. And I'll be back to ask you why anyone should give former president another chance at the presidency. Why anyone listening right now?
Right.
But then also there's a question around the narrative, per the outdooring of the running mates on the MPP's tickets.
Right.
People are saying that opposition, of course, is fueling this whole agenda. That the man is arrogant, the man is, just so they find their way or find a message around the man, which is expected politically. But some people also want to have that very balanced, impression or opinion about choosing Napo as a running mate to bow. One devoid of political color.
Well, you see, Caleb.
You're a journalist, so I'm asking the honorable member, the journalist.
I get you, but you see, if you look at it critically, both views are balanced. I mean, it's like, how do you call it? Looking at 6 from different angles.
That's right.
One will see 6, the other will see 9.
That's right.
And so it is not unbalanced for one to talk of Napo as being arrogant, especially if you can back it.
It's not propaganda you're cooking.
No, I mean, if you can back it with his own actions. It's not propaganda, his own actions and his own words. You see, there's something is a very wise king. Very, very wise king. I listened to him carefully yesterday, and he sort of absolved himself from anything to do with Napo's arrogance. When he said that a lot of people are saying you are arrogant, but I didn't train you, or I didn't raise you like that. So don't let what they say be true. Very wise king. So
that means there's an element.
He's heard it, that people are saying it, that you are arrogant. And he's not going to tell you that indeed you are arrogant. He's going to tell you that I didn't raise you like that. So do something about it. And I was impressed. But in fact, there's actually even a video that showcases Napo on his way to the palace.
He was telling
flippantly throwing someone to go to hell. Don't get close. So I mean, when you say that he's arrogant, and you can point to things like that, it's not being It's not doing propaganda. And look, we wanted a Jumso timetable. What did he tell us? Go do your own.
You mean all the past will come hands in hand?
Then again, not even the past, even his own conduct in the present. I mean, did you hear him on the platform?
He's your colleague in Parliament. You probably know him even better than
Giovanni,
what the media thinks.
did you hear him on the platform? He said that, I mean, it's okay to project your candidate or your president. He said no president has
your
that bring your. I mean, seriously speaking, everybody knows that a humble person doesn't speak like that. People who respect others' feelings, even when he disagrees with them, does so with a certain level of dignity, so that they still have that sense of right to also even be part. I say young. I mean, so it is something that is inbuilt, and you see. People may say, and so what? He's arrogant, and so what? It is very important. Nana Akufo-Addo was said to be arrogant. He was branded. That tag was shed off him. But ever since he became president, we have all seen how he has treated our concerns with disdain. I mean, when was the last time he opened himself up to the media to even question him on some of the things that matter to you and I? He doesn't think that, he owes us that duty of care to even respond to our concerns. And in this country, you can check. Sometimes things can trend for days. People are concerned about Dumso. People are concerned about their roads. People are concerned. He doesn't give a toss. In fact, when he gets to functions, he asks chiefs to rise for him. You see, character is very, very important when it comes to leadership.
Even in politics.
Don't discount the character of a person. On the basis that it is just politics and character. It does, because the character is what will inform the decisions that the person will eventually make. And those decisions can either make you or not make you. It can let your business grow or it can make your business diminish. It can let your children have better education or not. And so it is important. I have heard people say that, look, what we need is a constitutional review. We need to change our constitution. And I'm asking myself, why is this discussion becoming very prominent? It is becoming prominent today because we have put somebody whose character shows that he doesn't have self-restraint. Because look, until Nana Akufo-Addo became president, there was no ceiling as to how many ministers you can appoint. But it was never an issue because all previous presidents were moderates. Even though they knew they could appoint 200 ministers, they didn't even appoint more than 100. Because they knew that they had that responsibility to be restrained, self-restrained, to be moderate. He came, he took it to 120. Again, we know that there's no ceiling as to how many judges you can appoint to the Supreme Court's bench. Even the so-called dictator Rawlings, who was a military man and wanted to have his own way with rulings in the courts, did not pack the courts. He didn't take advantage of that and just appoint people anyhow to the Supreme Court. Because even in his so-called dictatorial ways, I don't believe he was a dictator, by the way, but granted that he was still minded by the fact that he needed self-control. Because they say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so when you are given power of state and you don't have self-restraint, you don't have a good character, like Barack Obama, Michelle Obama said, that, you see, power does not change people. It just reveals to you who they are, their true nature. And so when you sweep some of these things under the carpet and say that, oh, it's just propaganda, it's just politics, and so if he's arrogant and so what, that arrogance will translate into the decisions that he will take when he becomes powerful. And those decisions can even lead to loss of lives.
Alhassan, Suhiyini, we mentioned we're not going to go political, but this is a regular day in the office for you. So we'll take that. But we'll be back to that question I promised asking. That was my final question to you about why should anybody give the former president not to rule again and what we'll be doing differently. So please hold that one for me. But let's get to know you. I mean, yes, people know you from radio, from your days as a teacher and all that. How did you enter politics?
That's tough. I mean, I still struggle to call myself a politician.
Really?
Yeah.
After all these years?
Yeah, I mean, that's about 7 years now. Yeah, but I think I can best be described as an accidental politician.
Explain.
For a very long time, I never imagined myself doing politics. In fact, when it was suggested to me, many times by my friends and family members, they would tell you that I always resisted the temptation. I always told them that I wasn't ready, I wasn't interested in doing politics. So let me tell you this. Growing up, I grew up in the Rawlings era. And he was a very powerful man with a powerful voice. And he was intimidated by many people. And I saw that somehow, even though people said there was a culture of silence, he was still being criticized very, very fiercely by people like Kweku Bako Jr., Kwesi Pratt Jr., Cabral Blay Fifi, what's the name? I think he's now the NMC boss. I mean, Audrey Gajapo. I mean, they even Palmer Buckles, they criticize him ferociously. And so that was my formative years. So I thought to myself that I wanted to belong to that group of people who can hold
public office holders.
public office holders accountable, who can demand more and who can demand better from them. And if these group of people could dare criticize the dreaded Jerry Rawlings, then it's, a profession that I would like to be part of. So I got interested in, at the time, what was known as current affairs. I used to follow the news. I consume news like, I always, every opportunity. Yes, every opportunity. Yeah, so every opportunity I had, I listened to radio, I followed the BBC, I read newspapers that I came across, everything. So I was very interested in it. And so when I finally left secondary school, all I was looking for was an opportunity to work with the first, radio private. No, it wasn't private then. It was Radio Savannah. It was a GBC radio. Okay. The opportunity to work there. I never really got the opportunity to work directly, but I wrote a number of articles that they aired on. And so when the first private radio station came to Tamale, Diamond FM, I did all that I could with the help of my friends and God to get, to be on Diamond FM. And the rest they will say is history. So, but then I got that opportunity to begin to do the things that I wanted to do, hold politicians accountable, criticize, when I have to demand better for our people. And at a point in Tamale, I had won almost all the awards that there were to win.
Right. I remember the RTP.
Yes. And that was even after. I mean, these RTP, those were won in Accra.
Okay.
The regional ones. I had won all those, and I thought that there was a need for me to upgrade myself and do some, get some bigger platforms. So that's when I relocated to Accra.
How
Unfortunately,
did you become a member of the NDC then?
Yes. So
and how did that influence your radio journey? Well, then as a journalist,
what I will say is that my family has always been partly. My dad wasn't an out-and-out politician. Okay. My mom wasn't. I will say that my dad was more an admirer of Rawlings than just necessarily an NDC person. But he spoke sometimes very well about him, and so I will say my family already had that soft spot for the NDC. Okay. But growing up, to be honest with you, I tried to keep an open mind, especially when I was in the media. And even though I had that affinity to associate and identify more with the NDC, I never made it that open, especially because I was in the media. Okay. And I think the only time that I didn't care about that association was when I moved to Radio Gold. I had worked with Metro TV, I worked with CT, and when I got the offer from Radio Gold, I remember having a conversation with two friends of mine. I don't have their permission, but I'll mention their names. Honorable Amin Anta, who is now the finance minister, and Honorable Boniface Abakar Sadiq. They were my friends because I had worked with them in Tamale as regional minister and mayor and all that, and we had a very good relationship. They were now ministers, in the Kufuor government at the time. So when I had that offer from Radio Gold, there were those that some of the people I discussed the offer with. And then the two of them, I remember what they said. Even before you say a word on Radio Gold, everybody will say you are NDC. And I said, I don't care. Wow. I mean, as far as I am committed to being fair, to being open-minded, and to asking the questions as well as I think I am able to. I don't care what people think. So when I went to Radio Gold, and true to their prediction, that was the thing. I mean, the Suhiyini of City FM of Metro TV, just became the NDC Suhiyini.
But it's difficult finding that balance, right? Even on the job. With you being politically biased. I mean, trying to find that balance to be fair. I mean, there are a lot of people also believe that being subjective is abstract. It's a state of the mind.
Yeah, I don't really think that it is difficult to be fair. I mean, okay, maybe to some extent. Not everybody is able to deal with their biases. I am able to recognize my bias and still be fair, even as I acknowledge my bias. And I think that if a lot of us did that more, we will be educating people better, especially when we have opportunities for on platforms such as this. Look, the simple example I give all the time is that I have children in school. Now, if I go to pick up my child in school and the teacher explains to me that my child was involved in a fight and narrates the story, accurately to me, I should be able to tell if my child was wrong or right. That's fairness. But my bias, I can't change. My bias is to my child. Are you getting the point? My bias is to my child. But I should be able to still be fair to say that even though I'm biased towards my child is wrong. And so on this job as a media person, that is what I expect us to be doing more. Because we are supposed to do three things, or even more in this era: inform, entertain, and educate. But you know what politicians have succeeded in doing to Ghanaian media, when I sit back and look at, the way we practice, is that they have succeeded in forcing all of us to stick to the entertainment part and the information part. Yes. They don't like us educating. So if NDC and NPP are arguing over this book, you are looking at the book. Okay, so I'm NDC. I say the book is red. The color is red. Then the NPP person says the color is blue. What do you say it is? What do you say it is? You see it that it's black. Or I say that the book is black and I'm NDC. And then the NPP guy says, no, Suhiyini, the book you are holding is green. Then you, the media, you are afraid to say it is black, because if you say that, then Suhiyini is right, and it means you support NDC. Why should you be afraid? It's your job to educate. But we have, and when this thing started, like I was telling you, when I got interested in being part of the media, because I saw how the Cabral Blay, and there's L. Rollins, accountable. And I joined the media in the late 2000, mid 2000. And then it changed. That time NPP had come to power. President Kufuor was now in charge. And then the refrain in the media was now like, no, media, you have to supposed to be neutral. You just report what they say and let the people decide. Those who listen to you, they also know left from right. But this, and this preaching, and you can imagine my confusion, because this preaching was coming from my mentors. People who inspired me to join the media. They inspired me because of how they held Rollins to account and how they disagreed with Rollins. Rollins would come and say A, and they would say, no, you are wrong. His ministers would say B, and they would say, no, you are wrong. All of a sudden, they were telling us that it's not our duty to determine what is wrong. It was our duty to report both sides and let the people decide. You can imagine my confusion. So I was that confused. And that's when I started thinking that this whole idea of media being neutral and being balanced, but we all buy in the same market. Right. Our children attend the same schools. Yeah. Exactly. And we sleep in either Dumso or not. And we pay for water. We all pay. And so we live in the same economy. We cannot say we should be neutral. When we know what the situation is, we should be able to speak about them.
The least paid, and
absolutely,
yes, people should know that. So when you're in our DMs asking all these questions and favors, and we're not getting back to you, it's because we have problems of our own to worry about.
Well,
but I like the posture you've taken with the involvement of journalists in mainstream politics and all that. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask your top three journalists you monitor from your position right now as an MP.
That's quite difficult. I have more than three. Okay. I have more than three.
Based on one, and this is it. These are not your friends.
Yeah.
This is based on one, the delivery, the ability to research, and then just give off the best in what they're doing.
Yeah, I think I love what Johnny Hughes does. I think I love what Bernard Avle does. I also admire what Alfred Okansi does. Okay. I think he's also somebody who puts a lot of work. You can
not
tell.
Saying this because maybe half the time they are criticizing governments.
No, it's not. And what is even wrong with it if that is a yardstick? I just hope that they can maintain that when no matter who is in power. I think it is important for our progress. I don't really mind being criticized when my party is in power, except that I will want the criticisms to be based on facts. I want it to be based on reality. Okay. And I would like the discussion to be intellectual so that the conversation is about, determining the best way forward for this country, and not just doing it for the sake of doing it. So I think that the three of them come to mind immediately, but there are more. There are many others that I really, really admire.
That's okay. Well, in case you just joined us, we're spending time with the man, the fresh dancer, the man who loves Terminator. We had to start the show with that one. Honorable Alhassan Suhiyini is our guest on the show, and is a member of parliament for Tamale North. Now, I want to quickly get into your constituency because we have less than 15 minutes to wrap it all up.
Okay.
What are some of the current pressing issues in your constituency, and what are you doing to help fix them?
So the pressing issues in the Tamale North constituency currently will be roads. I mean, the community, the roads that connect communities tend to be quite deplorable. And in the rainy season like this, the deterioration gets worse, and people are heavily affected by it. We also have a flooding situation. I think the flooding is better these days, and I think that a few communities are still affected by the floods. I mean, the Gumani, Gumani well, and then that's the Rice City area. Then you also have Kalpohini, some parts of Kalpohini. So they are affected by the flooding situation. So in the rainy season, these are the two things that our communities are heavily affected by. But largely you have a teeming unemployed youth, in the constituency. And many of them are literate because the constituency is peri-urban. In fact, about 70% of the constituency is urban Tamale. It's just the 30% that is rural. And so they tend to be quite well educated. Unfortunately, many of them remain unemployed. No wonder the national average when it comes to unemployment is hitting 14.7% today. So it's a general problem, I understand, but it is something that is of concern to us in the Tamale North constituency.
In the face of all these challenges you highlighted, what would you consider your major wins since you assumed office?
Well, what I've done as a member of parliament, given the limited resources at our disposal and the leverage that we have, especially when your party is not in power, is to focus on the low-hanging fruits. So we have health challenges. I focus on ensuring that almost all our communities are, provided with a CHIPS compound. The communities without CHIPS compounds are provided with CHIPS compounds. So we have about 4 clinics that have been put up under my supervision with the help of some NGOs in some cases. We also have prioritized the area of education. And in the area of education, we have been able to renovate almost about 6 schools in the constituency today. Schools that have not seen any, works done on them since they were put up 20, 30 years ago. And you know how that affects even the attendance and the, attitude of teachers and all of that. So we have worked on this. We have also constructed a number of 3-unit classroom blocks, some in Kalpohini, others in Kamvli. And we have also generally supported other educational activities, like they just ended BECE. Every year we organize free extra classes. Yeah, I mean, they just started, yes. Every year we organize free extra classes at different locations in the constituency. So this year we had 4 centers, so that at least these centers are closer to the BEC candidates. And we closed the ceremony, I think, last Saturday, where we brought together about 1,100 students who benefited from the free extra classes. And we prepared them with the examination tools. I mean, mathematical cell rulers, pens, and all that they will need to write the exams. And we also gave them a stipend so that that they could use that to get themselves breakfast, at least breakfast before they go into the exam halls. So we prioritize health, we prioritize education, and we have also prioritized human resource empowerment. So those in school, to the best of our ability, we support those in tertiary level. We support with fees whenever we can, and we also support those who are into skills learning, vocational skills. I mean, we provide with sewing machines, hair dryers, barbers. We have supported with kits. We also support the blacksmiths, the mechanics, to the best of our ability. Every now and then we organize events and we donate some of the tools that they need to do their work. Plumbers, tile layers, they have all benefited from commercial sewing machines. They have all benefited from those interventions. So you have health, education, and social interventions that we have prioritized over the years. Because you don't have time, I've been forced to rush over some of these
things. It's all good.
Yes.
But okay, so I'm getting a few questions to you. I don't know how time is
going to
flying so fast already. A few of them on our Facebook page as well. Charles Tunchi says Giovanni is smart. I like this MP a lot. He's not my MP, but I like him. Please, Giovanni, please ask him how he would rate other journalists in Parliament. Say Kojo Nkrumah. Hey. Belinda, okay. Do you have an answer to that?
I think that generally speaking, Kojo Nkrumah is a smart guy. He has played his role well as member of parliament from what I see. I don't know how well he's doing in his constituency, but in parliament, when it comes to the work of parliament, I don't think he's doing badly.
Do you have a favorite minister under this regime?
No, not at all.
Where if you are to grade by performance, anyone by performance, say, hey, I like his attitude towards work, maybe he's the right person but in the wrong party.
There are fantastic guys I know, but unfortunately, when the supervision is terrible, they are not even able to put up their best. It's not some of them, it's not their fault that they are failing. The whole leadership is just a mess. Our people say it starts from the head. Once the head is rotten.
We also talk about, someone wanted me to raise issues about quality healthcare in your constituency. I think you touched on that briefly. But in terms of priority, top 3 things you think the next NDC government, if given the nod, would fix?
Well, I think that the flag bearer of the NDC hinted at it when he met with the press recently. We need to fix our economy. We have never been this low. I mean, things have never been this bad in the Fourth Republic. 25% inflation. No, when we went up to 54. I mean, to a point where we have had to, undertake a debt exchange program that affects the vulnerable in our society. Pensioners. I mean, we've never been here. Exchange rate, 1 CD now 14, 15, depending on where you exchange it. I mean, so it must be the priority of the next government. And I'm happy that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama seemed to be, very much well aware about the impact of the economy on anything else that he plans to do. So we need to fix the economy. We need to deal with the issue of corruption. Giovanni, it is not a joke. I have said it on many platforms that our democracy, our peace as a country is at risk if we do not deal with the impunity of people in leadership and the audacity of people in leadership to just amass what belongs to all of us for themselves. If we don't deal with it, we are going to have an explosion like happened in Kenya, as if it is too far away from us, but it has happened in Ghana before.
Do you think the former president has what it takes to probably prosecute and jail all these people who probably are found guilty?
I've never had any doubt in his ability to deal with corruption. Even when the noise was so loud about, painting him corrupt, I was still able to see how he dealt with his minister who was caught on tape suggesting that she wanted to make 1 million Ghana cedis. Do you remember that? He fired that minister. Compare that to one where you find $1 million under her bed. No, more than that. But $1 million is actually stolen without her knowledge. Immediately. And then the president writes a love letter to still speak about her integrity. Compare that to John Mahama, who heard a minister just gossiping that she wants to make 1 million Ghana. And he fired her. They talk about Bas Brandon, and he says, wait a minute, what happened, Bas Brandon? He calls all those involved, says, you resign, you go bring the money back to the state. It's not for you. Then they talk about Jida and says, something is happening at Jida. Then he sets up a committee. They investigate it. And he says, oh, the investigation has uncovered that some people are really messing up with this country. He fires them. His own best friend, like he said, Abuga Pele, and colleague in parliament, he puts him before a judge. National Service Secretariat, they say something is happening there. He sets up a team there. He fires almost every regional National Service director. That was the man, John Mahama. But you see, in the noise, all of that was missed. And it is that which gives me confidence that even at the time that he did this, he still had the spirit of Father for all. But now he says he has been exorcised of that spirit. So you can imagine how much more hard he will be, not just on his political opponents, but on his own appointees.
That part answers my question. The one I said, what would he be doing differently this time if given the nod?
So he comes with experience. That is not bought on the market. So he's not going to require so much time to learn about, governance and what it takes to put the government machinery to work. He already knows his way around the Flagstaff House. Right. So he's coming with that experience. Again, he's coming with the benefit of hindsight. Having sat back and looked at how this government has performed, he can clearly, come in with the necessary solutions that are required to fix our problem. So clearly, I think that you can expect him to be honest, like he's always been. He's going to be trustworthy. He's and he's also going to be very pragmatic, like he's always been. And I am sure that by the time he leaves office, once again, this country will see an explosion of infrastructure development like we witnessed under his watch, even though he cautions that the budgetary allocations are going to be that tight. He knows how he did. I mean, for example, Giovanni, he tells us that between 2009 and 2016, he and President Mills, President Kufuor borrowed only about 3 billion, right? Am I right? 3 billion from the international market, 3 billion. So all the development that you attribute to President Mahama, and if you like, add Mills and add Kufuor, and Eurobond gave us 3 billion, right? He says under President Akufo-Addo, in the last 7 years alone, they have borrowed about 7 billion. So you can imagine. The question to ask is, like they say in the Bible, to whom much is given, much is expected. So if for nothing at all, President Mahama should not be coming anywhere close to President Akufo-Addo in terms of infrastructure development. But everybody agrees that when it comes to infrastructure, you can't say President Mahama didn't do anything.
Honorable, unfortunately, we got 4 minutes to wrap it all up. This one there, please be very brief with me because
I'm not brief,
we are moving outside politics now. What do you, so this is beyond politics. What else do you do? Or if you weren't in politics, what would you be doing?
Maybe I would have either still been in the media or I would have been in civil society.
Okay.
Because that was my backup plan when I was contesting, when I decided to contest for for Tamale North. I thought that if things didn't go well, I was going to set up a think tank, a research institution, and do advocacy. For Ghana. I would have chosen a specific field I won't share now, but I would have done advocacy. I've always done farming too.
Nice.
I do some rice farming. Not that big, 150, 200 acres.
My brother,
but it
huge.
keeps me going.
That is huge. I love it.
It keeps me
So what do you
going,
tell
yes.
young people who tell you there are no jobs, they want to relocate, they want to leave our shores for greener pastures? What do you tell them?
It's a difficult one. Personally, growing up, I've never relished the opportunity to travel abroad. And I'm not from, a well-to-do home. You know that. I'm from a very not below average family. But I lived with friends who were even from better homes, who always wanted to travel abroad. And I always didn't understand why they, relished that much. But I think it boils down to the individual preferences. But I think that it is not a bad thing to seek experience abroad, but it is always better, in my view, to seek to contribute to the growth of this country and to make a life in Ghana. Right. But if you think that you want to go and get some experience, I see that people who go and come back tend to fit in our community better if they put their mind to it.
We have 3 minutes to wrap this up. So best piece of advice you've ever received? Best piece of advice you've ever
Nothing
received?
lasts forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
It helps you to stay grounded. It helps you to be humble. And it helps you to have recognize the God factor in your life always.
That's right. Most inspiring person you've ever met?
My dad. God bless his soul.
Wow. Any hidden talents?
Well, if you put me on the soccer pitch, you'll be surprised.
Wow. If the former president is supposed to, probably ask you to choose a ministry to head, which of them do you think you score yourself? Which one do you think you perform?
I serve at the pleasure of the president.
That's right. And then the final one, favorite book, apart from Facebook?
So I love John Grisham books, and so it's very difficult to choose one from it. But if you look at Stephen King, I'll say Tommy Knockers.
All right. And favorite song on your playlist right now? And that's what we're wrapping the interview up with.
Can I choose gospel?
Yes, please. Yes, please. You're allowed to.
God is good.
By?
Is it Nathaniel?
Oh, Nathaniel Bassey?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, Nathaniel Bassey.
Can you sing it?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the lyrics.
Okay, I'll get it for you.
I'll get it for me.
I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
Many thanks.
Yeah.
This God is too good, you mean? Is it
I think so, yeah.
All right, I'll do that for you. But thank you so much for spending part of your very busy day with us on the show.
I have no other God.
Oh, okay.
But you. I have no other God but you. In fact, that's what I put on replay when I'm doing my morning walk.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. You walk slow. It sounds like that. You walk very slow. This one is at least, the song is almost 10 years old, actually. It's
okay.
an old one
Love
from
it.
Nathaniel Bassey and the love song.
Yeah.
I'll do that for you. Thank you so much, Honorable Alhassan Suhiyini.
Thank you for having me.
MP
It's a
for Tamale
pleasure.
North and my dance partner as well. So,
how can I be your dance partner? Please. I know. No. I'm better. I'm much better. This one, if they throw a competition, I think that I'll defeat you.
Thank you so much. Please. Up next is the news, and Beatrice is already on standby with the crew. We'll be back at 6:30 p.m. Alfred Okanse is also here. The man who was just endorsed by Honorable Alhassan. My name is Giovanni. We'll catch you in a bit.
No other